This is Carson TV News, your capital city news source.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Carson TV News, your source for Nevada's capital city news. I'm Courtney Bloomer. Carson citizens lined up outside the courthouse on Musser Street on Saturday to take part in early voting.
Jeffrey Fast, Carson TV News. Winston Churchill once said, "Democracy is the worst form of government, except for all the others." Well, today, democracy rears its ugly head in Carson City. I'm here at the courthouse where early voting began on Saturday, October 18th. The lines are short, the voting process is easy, and I used my sample ballot with the barcode on the back to identify myself. I was stood in line for about 5 minutes. Pleasant people around. The voting process is quick, easy, and very secure. So if you'd like to vote early, remember that early voting runs from October 18th through October 31st.
This is my first time as a candidate. I came late. I came at 9:30. And found that the line was already quite long.
That's because of the new poll books, electronic poll books. You can process people 50 to 70% faster than we used to be.
After the voters have voted, then they bring the card to me. And I've done this for about 28 years.
The general election will be on November 4th, and all of the voting in Carson City will be at the Carson Community Center. If you'd like to vote early, come on down to the courthouse during the middays when the lines will be the shortest.
Fall is in the air and flu season is on the way. Carson City Health and Human Services wants to help you be ready. Preparations for their 11th annual free flu clinic are wrapping up this week. And the free drive-through flu clinic will be held this Friday, October 24th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Carson City Corporate Yard at 3303 Budd-Eye Way.
Hi, I'm Taylor Radke, Public Information Officer at Carson City Health and Human Services. The ultimate goal for Carson City Health and Human Services this year is that everybody has the ability to receive a flu shot. We are providing flu shots in many different outlets this year, not only in our clinic. We are providing the flu shot as well as the mist and a high dose for seniors as well as a pediatric dose for infants. In the past, vaccine has provided coverage for 3 flu strains. This will be the second year that Carson City Health and Human Services is providing a vaccine that provides coverage for 4 flu strains. We are going out and providing over 50 events in the community at senior centers and long-term care facilities, at food banks. We want to make sure that all of our special and vulnerable populations can receive a flu shot, and we are not turning away anyone for the inability to be able to pay. There is an opportunity for all residents to receive a free flu vaccine this year at the free drive-through clinic on October 24th from 2 to 6 p.m. You can download the form on our website, www.gethealthycarsoncity.org, or the form will be provided in the Nevada Appeal.
The flu clinic is open to everyone. Visit www.gethealthycarsoncity.org for more information. Residents who travel about Carson City have probably seen the unique house at the corner of Arrowhead and Emerson. Often people may wonder what's going on. Well, our reporter Darla is here to take the mystery out of that house. She spoke with Rudy and Lisa Romo about their never-ending and ever-evolving landmark.
Hi there, Darla Bear here for Carson TV News. And yes, what you're seeing behind me is the house on Arrowhead. Well, that's what I call it. It has been evolving for many, many years. I had the pleasure of talking with Rudy and Lisa, who own it and have been creating it. It's a really fantastic place.
Okay, so what was the first thing that you started with? Was it the lady on the horse?
The lady on the horse, that came from the King's Castle in Incline Village, about 95 or something, 94.
Okay.
So everybody says like this is a landmark. But when Ray Masako was mayor, I knew him, and he told me that somebody came in front of the board and said that that was offensive, and he told them at the board meeting that that was a landmark of Carson City. Came from the Orange County Fairgrounds in Santa Ana. I had a Corvette. I went down to visit my mom in Santa Ana. She gives me that thing, so I had that tied to the Corvette and came all the way back here. UFO, some guy came my driveway, and he knocked on the door and says, "Hey dude, I got something that'll fit really good on your property." And then he told me about the UFO. Then I put this up the other day.
Yes.
And I had so many people, during street vibrations. One guy stopped me and said, "Hey, where's a Harley dealership?" And I said, "Duh, can't you read the sign?"
So it'll be windy as hell, and that you can hear it from in the house sometimes, but I get up in the morning, I'm like, still there.
Is it still there? Godiva and the Orange were phase 1.
That's true.
Then the facade of the place was phase 2.
That's true.
The plane is phase 3. There may have been a few phases in between there,
Right.
but these are the major
that's
things.
Well said, yeah.
And then this one is going to be phase 4. And
Yeah.
again, there should be phase 5, 6, 7. Who knows? It's not going to end, right?
You know, like I told you, the Winchester Mansion is
Yeah.
like, that's perfect. See this guy, see these people? I don't know them, but they slowed down and went.
Yeah, as they should. It really is a landmark. It's like the rubber band ball or the dinosaur gift shop. All of those.
I know that's when those guys came from Arizona, and they thought it. And we've had people come by and say, "Oh, is this a restaurant or a bar?"
Because the house isn't done yet.
And it never will be, but that's okay.
Team entrants in the Carson Creepy Film Fest started work on their films last week. Teams were assigned one of 4 subgenres of horror films: psychological thrillers, sci-fi, spiders and insects, or vampires. Each team is now hard at work on their films, so prepare to be scared and head down to the Brewery Arts Center on October 25th for the showing of these locally produced films and get in the Halloween spirit.
Hi, this is Kit, reporter for Carson TV, and I am also a director, and these are some of my actors, which are Shania, I play the puppet, Xander, I play Flint,
and Bryce, I play the ring.
We are entering a short film in the Creepy Short Film Fest down at the Brewery Arts Center. It is going to be such an amazing event. 13 teams have to put ingredients in the film. These ingredients is a prop, a sound effect, and a piece of dialogue.
And the screening is on the 25th.
Slash your way to the top.
On October 26th at 4 p.m., join musicians from across the region for the Carson City Symphony concert in celebration of Nevada's 150th birthday.
I'm David Bugley. I'm the conductor of the Carson City Symphony, and we have finished 30 seasons of the Symphony in Carson City. We're starting our 31st season, and we have a real special concert. As many of you know, Nevada is celebrating its 150th year, the sesquicentennial, and I even wearing my sesquicentennial pin over here. And our concert that we're doing on October 26, Sunday, October 26 at the Community Center is called a Nevada 150 concert. And the concert itself starts at 4 o'clock, but we have 2 other things that you should know about. We have lobby entertainment at 3 o'clock for those of you who are buying tickets, and that's by Tom and Mary Kay Olfrance. And then we have a preview with the soloist, and hopefully with our composer Jim Cockey, who will be out here. So I think you'll find this very interesting. It's music by Jim Cockey, Stephen Rosenhaus, Bertha Raffetto, by myself, and by Eric Whitaker.
Tickets are available at Play Your Own Music at the Carson Mall or at ccsymphony.com. Here's Star Nixdorf with this week's Health and Wellness segment.
Star Nixdorf here with Paradise Salon Spa and Wellness. Today we're going to talk about emergency care for sports injuries. And these could be injuries that you sustained because you were out in our beautiful countryside taking a nice hike or something. There's a lot of different things that can happen while you're out on the trail. And it's really good to know what to do in case this stuff happens. Sprains, strains, maybe you trip over something. It's good to take a rest and get some cold on it if you can. Finding a nearby stream, that's really helpful. Or maybe you were the kind of Boy Scout that brought some ice along with you on that trip. Get back to your car, and if it feels like it's really severe, seek medical attention. If you could go home, you felt good enough for that, you rest it, wrap it up nice and tight, put some ice on it, and put it up so that you're resting that foot higher than your heart. And if in a day or two it doesn't feel any better, seek immediate medical attention. The other things that can happen while you're out on the trail or out in our lovely High Sierra environment is heat exhaustion or heat stroke or dehydration. All these things basically have one thing in common, which is drink water. But if you've got someone who's having heat exhaustion, you can use cold towels, or you can take a blanket or maybe something, dip it in that stream and wrap them up in that cold towel. Get them back to the car, get them back to civilization, because if it's a heat stroke or it's heat exhaustion, you probably need to get them to the hospital. People can actually pass out, get nauseated, or lose their balance from those conditions. Dehydration, on the other hand, if you start feeling thirsty, you're probably past dehydration. And it's really simple to get some water and rest, get some shade, and take it easy. The other thing that happens sometimes is muscle cramps. Now, muscle cramps, when you're out and about and you're on the field, pretty much it's about getting a massage, getting off of it, resting it, and taking it easy. Again, rest, ice, compression, and elevation are good treatments for that. Lastly, when you've had an injury, a strain or a sprain, it's really great to get into the water and exercise to recuperate. And you can use a pool at the community center, hot springs, or you can come see us in Paradise and use our warm saltwater pools for that rehabilitation. I want you to have a great time out there and have a great life.
Thank you, Star. Carson High Senators are deep into fall sports. Here's a wrap-up of this week's action.
In football, the Carson Senators amassed over 400 yards in offense in this year's homecoming game Friday night, rolling over the Minogue Miners by a score of 42-0. One night earlier, the junior varsity squad continued its dominance with a 62-15 win of its own over Minogue to remain undefeated at 6-0. The Carson High girls soccer team was on a roll last week, shutting out Damani 2-0 on Tuesday, McQueen 1-0 on Thursday, and Wooster 5-0 on Saturday, bringing their season record to 8-2-1 in league play and 9-4-2 overall. The boys team lost Wednesday 3-2 versus Damani, but the Senators bounced back Saturday for a 3-1 upset of the Wooster Colts. And in volleyball, Carson defeated the Douglas Tigers on Tuesday, as well as Damani on Thursday, to extend their win streak to 10 and remain tied for first place in league standings with a record of 11-1.
Ghouls and apparitions from Carson City's past lined the streets on Saturday as Carson City Ghost Walk held its 22nd year.
Right this way! Visions of an empire. Visions of Sierra Nevada Torrey. Yeah. Major William Ormsby, sir. Pleased to meet you. I held out my powder, sir, as a sign of peace. And Natchez rode up, he said, my friend, he said, with his arrow out, he said, I'll shoot over your head, Major, lie down. But I was dazed. It was a bad day. And I did not lie down. And so I was killed. And thrown over the embankment down into the Truckee River, 80 men. The largest defeat of a force of armed settlers in the history of the nation since the French Indian War. Did I mention that fact? Yes, I did. This is a B+ group. We're making a mistake.
Hi, this is Dana with Carson News, and I'm here with Joy Evans, who's getting ready and practicing for the new cemetery tour that's coming up over Nevada Day. Tell us a little bit about that, Joy.
Well, the cemetery tour, I'm calling it Our Friends in Low Places. And we will take you through the Lone Mountain Cemetery, and you will meet and talk to some of the people that helped create our history in Nevada. So you do not want to miss this tour. We'll have it Friday night, the 31st, and Saturday night after the parade. We're going to have, you have a few options of going on this tour. So I guarantee you, you're going to be very surprised, and you're going to love this tour. We've got a lot of people that are coming to life to talk to you.
How many interesting people are here in the cemetery?
Well, the ones we're doing right now, there'll be about 9. I mean, there's a lot of people in here that need to be recognized, but we can't recognize them all this time. So maybe we'll do something in the spring, but right now we'll have about 9 that are going to come to life.
Like Abe Curry?
Abe Curry, Jenny Clemens, Mark Twain's niece, Yarrington, and a gentleman by the name of Cuba Crutchfield. And he was a well-known roper and a Hollywood star. Not a lot of people knew about him, but he's in the beginning of our tour, and he'll tell you about his life too.
This sounds very interesting. Yeah. Well, we'll be catching up with you later. Thank you so much, Joy Evans.
My pleasure.
With the cemetery tours coming up for Nevada Day. This is Dana Lee Friend for Carson News. Thank you, Joy.
Thank you.
In this week's Property Perspectives, Garrett Lapierre helps us in our home search by pointing us to some great online resources.
Hi, I'm Garrett Lapierre, real estate agent with Century 21, Jim Wilson Realty, here in beautiful Carson City, Nevada. You're watching Property Perspectives, and today we're going to cover what the online real estate search engines mean to you as a consumer. And the names that you're going to hear are names like Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes.com. Okay? The first 3 that I mentioned are the 3 major players in the online real estate experience. The stats are just staggering that come down from the National Association of Realtors that say 90% of home buyers start their home search online through one of these websites or maybe one that I didn't mention. 90%, 9 out of 10 people are going to the internet to start their home search. Not calling a real estate agent, not walking into a real estate office or picking up a home magazine or even picking up a local newspaper. They're opening up their computers and searching online. Online real estate over the last decade has really changed, and I think it's going to continue to change. It's going to change the way the real estate game is played and how marketing is done in the 21st century. Right now you can find really high quality pictures. You can find virtual online tours of properties, so you can really search for a home from the comfort of your living room or your office and find out everything that you really want to know about that property, except for actually going out and physically seeing it. That being said, what you need to know as a consumer is the information that you're seeing online isn't everything on that property. These websites, Zillow and Trulia in particular, want to keep some of the information away from you, the consumer, so you have to ask for that information, whether that be an address, whether that be a price, whether that be school districts, things like that. And then what happens is when you say, hey, I want to know what school district this property is in, Zillow and Trulia in turn to real estate professionals like myself and say, hey, I have somebody looking in Carson City on this side of town or in this zip code, and they try to sell me your information. So they're going to give me Bob and Sue Smith with your email and phone number or whatever contact info you give them, and then they're going to turn that over to me and sell that to me as a lead. The thing about this business model is Zillow and Trulia have the information that they have because they get it from our multiple listing services. And by our, I mean, in this case, the Northern Nevada Regional MLS, which is the MLS system that covers all the Northern Nevada except for Elko. We pay to be a member of that, and we provide that organization with the information. So when I go and list a property, I put that information into that database. Then that MLS goes and sells that information to Trulia and Zillow to keep our dues at a low rate. And then in turn, when Zillow and Trulia have a lead or a consumer that wants more information, they in turn try to sell that back to us. So they definitely have a business model that they've kind of taken advantage of the real estate professionals, but it's a real estate marketing tool that has really changed the face of how consumers get their information and where they get their information from. I am a firm believer that the more information the consumer can have, the better informed decision they're going to make, and they're going to feel more confident in their decision because they're going to feel like they're making that decision more on their own than having someone lead them to that decision. With all the information that you can gain by looking at these websites online, I think it's important that once you've found the information that gets you to the point of saying, okay, I do want to buy or I do want to sell, that you contact a real estate professional that knows your area and knows your location really well. Real estate's local. The Carson City market is different than the market in Dayton, different than the market in Reno and Sparks. So it is very local, and it's very important that you talk to someone who knows the local market really well. Over the years, the online experience has changed for the consumers, and I think that's going to continue to be the rule. Mobile devices, so your smartphones, your iPads, are going to become a lot easier to use while you're out and about driving around neighborhoods or looking at houses via open houses. You're going to be able to get more information at your fingertips. That being said, that doesn't supplant the local knowledge of what's really happening in the local marketplace, and also helping you through the process of going from writing an offer to ending the deal and getting keys to your new home, or from putting the sign in your front yard to getting your check when you're done and you've sold your property. Thank you for watching, and make it a great day.
Thanks, Garrett. That's very helpful for anyone who's taking part in a home search right now. Pony Express riders made a special delivery to the Nevada State Capitol and Lieutenant Governor Brian Krolicki on Friday. Special sesquicentennial proclamations from White Pine, Eureka, and Lander counties made their way across the state and were delivered to the Capitol via horseback as part of a tradition that's a unique and important part of Nevada history.
Well, they were sequential, but the first one left Ely yesterday? Yes, it did. Wow, that's just amazing to me. A big hand again. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of Carson TV News. I'm Courtney Bloomer. We'll see you next week.
The Carson TV News crew and the Brewery Arts Center are deeply saddened by the loss of our friend, Pete Livermore. Our heartfelt condolences go out to his family.